could Tom do such a thing?
Are you sure you're not mistaken?
Louise, I know what I saw. I'm not blind.
No, just colorblind.
Moving on up meant more than just a bigger apartment for America's favorite TV family. Behind the laughter and iconic theme song, the Jeffersons packed in oddities, near misses, and surprises that history quietly tucked away. Let's count down 10 truly strange facts that fans almost never learn. Number 1. The show was canceled without a real finale. Let's go back to the spring of 1985. After over a decade on the air, The Jeffersons held strong as one of television's most beloved comedies, known for its sharp humor and for breaking new ground with its portrayal of an African-American family who moved on up. But after 253 episodes, CBS pulled the plug on The Jeffersons with breathtaking swiftness. No heartfelt farewell, no emotional last scene. The cast, including Sherman Hemsley and Isabel Sanford, didn't even get the courtesy of a press release. They learned it was over through newspaper announcements, just like everyone else. This abrupt cancellation left millions of viewers hanging, with George, Louise, and the rest of the crew frozen in sitcom time, suspended in the luxury high-rise with their stories unfinished. Even now, fans wonder what could have been, feeling the sting of a classic sitcom that never got to say a true goodbye. The unanswered questions linger, inviting us to peek backstage as we dig even deeper into the unexpected truths behind the Jeffersons. Number 2. Roxie Roker's real life inspired the show's social progress. There's a poignant truth beating at the heart of the Jeffersons. Roxie Roker, whose Helen Willis made history as half of television's first black-and-white married couple, brought more than just acting chops to her role. In real life, she herself was married to Cy Kravitz, a white television producer. Decades before, that was a common sight on American screens. The show, which debuted on CBS in 1975, didn't just reflect society's shifts. It leaned into Roker's own life. Producers and writers would consult Roxie, listening to her insights and letting her personal experiences shape Helen's journey. That grounding, that authenticity, made every scene ring true, whether Helen and Tom were sharing laughs or shouldering the stares of their TV neighbors. Even now, you can sense how Roxie's lived wisdom gave the Willises' storylines a depth and resonance few sitcoms had ever attempted. As the laughter paused for a beat, you could almost hear the winds of real progress rustling through the set, inviting another conversation we still need today. Number 3. The breakneck pace was a deliberate choice. Listen close, and you'll catch a rhythm that feels more like a snappy Broadway act than a living room sitcom. The Jeffersons wasn't just funny, it was fast. Writers built the rapid-fire banter with intention, channeling the quick-witted punchlines of early 20th century vaudeville. In the mid-1970s, most sitcoms still meandered along, but the Jeffersons kept viewers on their toes, shifting from joke to joke at lightning speed. The crackling pace wasn't an accident. With Sherman Hemsley delivering George's sharp retorts and Isabel Sanford volleying back as Louise, the tight script kept the energy high. The show's creators and writers, many with theater roots, wanted the series to feel exhilarating, a sitcom as a verbal ping-pong match. Audiences felt the difference instantly. It was this intentional energy, debuting on CBS in 1975, that made The Jeffersons endlessly rewatchable and infectiously modern. Every episode left you wanting more, eager to see what rapid-fire exchange would come next. Number 4. The iconic theme song almost didn't happen. You can almost hear those first triumphant notes. But what if, moving on up, the unforgettable anthem of The Jeffersons had never made it past the producer's table? In a twist few people know, the creators nearly ditched the now legendary theme for something safer and more forgettable. In 1975, when The Jeffersons was gearing up to break ground on CBS, Norman Lear fought for a bold choice. He believed a gospel-inspired celebration was just right for capturing George and Louise Jefferson's big, optimistic leap from Queens to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Against pushback, Lear insisted, "Moving on up, stay." And with Jeanette Dubois delivering those soulful vocals, the risk paid off. That opening number became shorthand for hope, ambition, and climbing into your dreams, instantly setting the tone for all 11 seasons. It's hard to imagine any other tune, and now you probably can't hear those lyrics without picturing that iconic living room, sometimes betting on bold wins, echoing through every TV night to follow. Number 5. Controversial script topics were sometimes filmed twice. bright studio lights, nervous glances, and two slightly different deliveries. This was the reality on the Jefferson set when scripts tiptoed onto sensitive ground. During the late 70s and early 80s, topics like racism and interracial marriage were not just dinner table debates. They were cultural landmines, especially on primetime television. To keep the show's bold voice intact while appeasing CBS executives, writers often filmed two versions of controversial scenes. One would push boundaries, the other would tread carefully, ready to be swapped if network censors got cold feet. Years later, sharp-eyed fans spotted these alternate scenes tucked into special features on the show's DVD box sets. Watching Sherman Hemsley and Isabel Sanford transition seamlessly between humor and gravity, you see not only their incredible range, but also the invisible hands guiding what America could and could not laugh at on the small screen. It's a telling peek behind the velvet rope, and a reminder of how every joke, every dramatic pause had more riding on it than just the next laugh track. As we peel back the layers, the next secret promises to dig even deeper. Let's pause for a second. Did you ever catch an alternate scene or a lost moment in a TV rerun or DVD special? Which classic show would you love to see the uncut version of? Share your favorite discoveries below. Number 6. Florence nearly got her own spin-off, twice. Every sitcom has that one character who steals the show long before the credits roll, and for the Jeffersons, that was Florence Johnston. Played by Marla Gibbs, Florence wasn't just the quick-tongued housekeeper, she became an icon in her own right. In the late 70s and early 80s, CBS couldn't ignore her magnetic pull. Twice they tried to launch her into her own spotlight with spin-off pilots. First with Checking In 1981, where Florence ran the housekeeping staff of a New York hotel, and later with another concept that fizzled before airing. Neither series stuck, but these attempts underscored how much viewers loved Gibbs's wit and timing. Her playful jabs and authentic sass gave the Jeffersons its special kick, keeping George and Louise on their toes episode after episode. Even without breakout success, Florence left a mark that echoes through TV history, a reminder that sometimes the heart of a show comes from its most unexpected corners. And with that, let's keep moving through the high rises and hallways where TV icons were made. Number 7. An unscripted slap made it to air. You could almost hear the collective gasp across living rooms during that unforgettable episode in 1980. Tensions between Louise and George were always a staple of the Jeffersons, but when Isabel Sanford's palm landed unexpectedly hard on Sherman Hemsley's cheek in Season 6, it was no staged slap. Sanford had meant to hold back, but in the heat of the scene, her hand connected with real force. The shock on Hemsley's face wasn't acting, it was genuine surprise, and the producers knew they had lightning in a bottle. Instead of reshooting, they kept that very take. It became a moment fans couldn't forget, adding depth and authenticity to the couple's legendary bickering. That single unscripted blow highlighted the real chemistry between the actors and cemented the show's legacy for keeping it honest, even in the wildest moments on East 85th Street. You felt both the laughs and the sting as the feud's believability suddenly leapfrogged into something real. As we look back, it's those raw little accidents that stick with us through the years. Number 8. The Doorman Ralph rarely left his lobby set. Picture the dim lobby of the Colby East, where Ralph the Doorman stood guard like a loyal sentinel. Ned Werdemer, the man behind that crisp uniform and sly smile, rarely left this modest set. Roxie Roker once revealed that Werdemer filmed almost all of his scenes in that same lobby, day after day, year after year. This wasn't just about sticking to character. It was a clever, cost-saving move by the Jeffersons production team, shaving thousands from the budget each season, while solidifying Ralph as an unforgettable presence. The set barely changed, but Ralph's unblinking devotion made the lobby feel alive, funny, familiar, a little world unto itself. Werdemer's loyalty paid off on screen, turning a minor role into a beloved staple across more than 100 episodes from 1975 through 1985. As the elevator doors chimed and laughter rippled through the hall, you couldn't help but expect Ralph, ready with a quip. He was always there, rooting the wild Jefferson hustle in something steady before the next adventure beckoned upriver. Number 9. George Jefferson was nearly recast twice. You might remember George Jefferson as a force of nature, but not everyone knows that Sherman Hemsley almost didn't play him at the start. When the Jeffersons pilot was greenlit in 1975, Hemsley was still tied up with a stage production of Pearly. So, in a twist of television fate, Actor Mel Stewart briefly stepped into George's shoes for the show's earliest episode. Viewers tuning in during those early days noticed the change when Hemsley suddenly appeared, with the show barely acknowledging why George looked so different overnight. It was a bewildering moment for loyal fans, who found themselves doing a double take at the living room set. This hiccup didn't stop Hemsley from making the role unforgettable, bringing the swagger, sarcasm, and spirit that made George Jefferson an icon. Sometimes TV magic requires a quick shuffle and a wink to the audience, leaving behind a bit of mystery and a story fans would puzzle over for decades to come. Soon enough, Sherman Hemsley's version became the only George we could ever imagine. Number 10, the pilot was a backdoor episode in All in the Family. Picture this. Before George and Louise Jefferson had their own address on 185 East 62nd Street, they were simply the spirited neighbors stirring up laughs in All in the Family. It was in Season 4, aired in 1973, that America first met the Jeffersons as Archie Bunker's upstairs foil. Every exchange crackled across living rooms, prompting network executives at CBS to take notice. This wasn't just another guest spot. Viewers tuned in, ratings soared, and suddenly the notion of a new sitcom starring the Jeffersons didn't just seem possible, it felt inevitable. This subtle debut, now called a backdoor pilot, would go on to shape how TV tested out fresh faces and storylines. The Jeffersons' chemistry turned a side plot into a primetime revolution, leading to their own show in 1975. It's a testament to sitcom history. Sometimes all it takes is one unforgettable neighborly knock on the door to change television forever. And as audiences leaned in, you could almost hear the theme song waiting in the wings, ready for that move on up.